Well, it's December, so that means any number of things. But as far as I'm concerned, that means Christmas video games. So, we're gonna get going and play some Christmas games here on Lazy Game Reviews.
When you think of Christmas, thoughts often turn to the Santa Claus story. You know, bearded fat guy wearing a jumpsuit, breaking into houses while everybody's asleep, stealing their food, and hopefully bringing a surprise or two for the children. Not to mention all of that watching you while you sleep and knowing everything you do and stuff. You know, Santa's pretty much a creepy ex-con who just slightly cleaned up his act once on parole, now that I think about it. Anyways, the Santa story should make an awesome arcade video game, right? What with all the visiting as many houses as you can and delivering presents before the night ends, well, that's exactly what Special Delivery Santa's Christmas Chaos is all about. Play the role of Old Saint Nick himself, and your task is to do all of the good deeds you can before you die. This is on the Atari 8-bit computers, but also came on the Sinclair Spectrum and C64. Gameplay remains much the same on each version, only the graphics and sound are changed a bit. You start off playing Santa in his sleigh. Strangely, it looks like it's without any reindeer, and you take off on his journey from his elf sweatshop at the North Pole. This section is a simple side-scrolling area where you have to collect the presents which fall from the sky, dropped by supernatural beings with halos. Yeah, I have no idea why angels are dropping presents from the lower atmosphere. Maybe he worked all the elves to death. Collect as many presents as you can without hitting anything. If you do, the present that was falling will disappear into the ether. It's going to be mostly clouds and mountains getting in your way, and you'll lose the present that is falling or slow down if you so much as get near the wrong pixel. Once the otherworldly beings tire of throwing down gifts to you, you can land on larger houses and proceed to climb down the chimney. And deck the halls. Man, who knew chimneys were so complex inside? There's multiple ladders leading downward, flames coming up from the bottom that will burn you alive, and snowballs falling from above that can also kill you. Once you reach the bottom, you'll extinguish the family's source of heat and infiltrate their house. Once inside, it takes a very new perspective, almost isometric looking, but not quite. You'll need to stealthily drop the gift under the tree, get the key, and then leave through the locked front door without waking anybody up. I guess Santa can't climb up ladders, only down them. Somewhat creepily, there are evil zombie children who are walking around the house, opening and closing doors behind them. Supposedly they're sleepwalking, but calling them zombies is much more enjoyable. Really adds to that whole Christmas spirit. If you touch them, they will make you explode. Now that is freaking awesome. If at any point along the way you touch any of these obstacles inside the house, you will leave the place and go on to the next one. I guess Santa's coming down and be like, okay, ho ho, Merry Christmas, and then something happens and he's like, screw that, you ain't getting crap, and he just leaves. Who knew Santa's job was so stressful, not to mention deadly? Hope he has good insurance. There are other houses which are too small to go down the chimney, so you'll have to drop presents like bombs into their chimney stack instead. The gameplay gets harder as it goes along, of course, and it just loops between the different house types. Sometimes, though, instead of angels, you'll get demons dropping presents instead, and you'll want to avoid those since satanic minions aren't really into the whole Christmas thing. They will take away what presents you have gained if you touch one of their evil droppings. You know, I like Special Delivery. It's relatively simple, and quickly and progressively gets more difficult as you go along. That's just what it should be. I mean, I'm a fan of 80s-style arcade games, and this one has all the points of making it a good one. Limited lives and time, bunch of items to get, varying enemies to learn, the goal of earning points, solid gameplay, and a bizarre plot. The controls are very tight, and only when on the ladders did I really run into much of a problem. Sometimes it just seemed to lag a little bit, and you ended up getting toasted. But really, there's not much wrong with the game at all, and it's one of the earliest Christmas games that I know of. So, for some different retro Christmas entertainment, you may want to check out Special Delivery on the Atari 8-bit or one of the other 8-bit computers that it's on. It is indeed chaos of the Christmas variety, but it's short-lived, fun arcade chaos, which is just the way I like it.